that was a nice one, too, now. I remember this one.
You know, out of all the cuts, though, that's my least favorite. This one is.
You know what? You saw me enjoying it. How couldn't you could have just went with the flow, man. I mean, you know.
I am. That's why I'm getting ready to introduce my next guest.
Oh, he's tough on me, y'all.
My next guest tonight is Al Woods, LSU graduate, and their starting defensive tackle this past season. Had an outstanding senior season, is moving up to draft boards daily, and preparing to go to the NFL Combine. How you doing, Big Al?
I'm doing good, man. How are you, man? What y'all boys doing down there? How y'all feeling?
Oh, we feel good, man. I'm here with Big O. You remember Big O from lunch
man,
the other
Big O,
day?
man, how you doing, man? You still working on that plate of food, man?
Oh, man, look. Now, see, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, it's funny when Vince told me you was going to be on the show. I was like, oh, man, I got to tease Big Phil. I got to tease my homeboy because, you know, for the listening audience, you know, I'm a basketball player, but, you know, these football players, man, y'all can put that food away.
We went to This Is It.
Right. And so the three, actually, there was four of us.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm next to Big Phil. I'm next to Wood. I'm eating some macaroni and cheese. I took 3 bites. He had like a 3-layered plate, and it was gone. After I'd had about 3 bites.
It was gone, man. I don't play around. Man.
Yeah, he had a little smidgen of mac and cheese left. That's
man.
all he had. Big Al's serious about his food. He's serious about his football, too. I'm going to start from high school, Al, because I would just want the listeners to know you were one of the most recruited athletes in the nation coming out of high school in 06, and probably the most recruited athlete coming out of New Orleans. I just want you to talk about recruiting process, why you chose LSU, and what were your other 2 or 3 choices that you were considering?
Well, the reason why I chose LSU was because it was close to home. You know, I'm a real down-home country boy, so, you know, I told him I couldn't go too far because, you know, on the weekends, when playing football, I had to come home and help on the farm.
Right.
So, you know, that was the reason why I went there. But my other 2 choices was USC and Oklahoma, and, I mean, it came down to 12 o'clock at night, right before the morning of National Signing Day. You know, me and my mom and dad, we sitting down, we discussing where I want to go. And, you know, and I just kind of was like, well, what y'all thinking? They both said LSU was the way to go. At first, I was kind of like, well, I might be going in a different direction. Then we sat down and talked about it some more. We said a prayer together, and I signed the papers the next morning to go to LSU, man. That's the decision I made.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a great choice. But in saying that, you went to LSU, and when you first got there, you played behind such players as Glenn Dorsey, Ricky Jean-Francois. At the time, did you consider maybe I could have gone somewhere else, played a little sooner, or was it to your advantage playing behind those guys at the time and really learning from them?
I think I did my best thing was to stay at LSU and sticking with it because when I had guys like that in front of me, I learned so much.
Right.
I learned a lot of stuff on and off the field, you know, like staying out of trouble, you know, just going to them about, you know, hey, man, you know, coach ride my butt about certain situations. Hey, man, don't worry about it. Just bust your butt, you know, and you can work through it. You know, I think that's the best decision I made because if you look at it, a lot of the guys right now are playing in the NFL and, you know, just living their dream. And I'm thinking, hey, you know, if I can learn from the best, I can be the best one day. So, you know, I think that was the best decision I made, you know, as far as going down that road, you know.
Right. That's great. Hey, Al, look, you know, on the basketball side, you know, I set up a lot of training programs for the guys who are coming up into the draft. So I have a good feel for what that process that you're going through. Take a little time and let the people know because, you know, you're now going through that same process on the football side, getting ready for the combine. So take a little time and let them know kind of what's your day-to-day routine and kind of like what's your program that you've been doing getting ready for the combine.
Well, you know, we have to be there for about some of us get there around 9, some of us get there around 9:30, and the first thing we do is warm up. You know, make sure the body's ready to work. And, I mean, we'll get there, and, I mean, we'll go after it. I mean, we'll run. We'll do conditioning drills. We'll do D-line drills for us D-linemen that's getting ready to go to the combine. We'll work out. I mean, plyometrics. I mean, for the 2 hours we there in the morning, we really go at it. I mean, Dan is the type of guy that he leaves no stone unturned. I mean, we get after it every day, all day. Then, you know, you go home, you rest, you get your lunch, and then you come up there again for your second session. And, I mean, it's just like the morning session. You know, it's like one day already gone. So, you know, we have to get after it and, you know, take as much time as we can to, you know, perfect our skills because when the time comes, man, and they call your name, man, you got to be ready to play and be ready to.
Exactly.
I was going to ask you, Al, but even a question before that. You signed, and for those of you that don't know, he mentioned Danny. That's Danny Arnold at Plex, who's one of the great trainers of athletes going into the NFL Combine. But I was going to ask you to take us through the process of you coming out of school, choosing an agent, and again, Al is with Elias Sports Management,
right?
Which we're very proud of. And kind of what was that decision process like, and, why did you finally choose Elias Sports Management?
Okay. Well, after my last game, I was kind of down because we lost, and, it was about that time, and I had agents come to my house, and I interviewed them, and, all of them was good. I mean, every agent I sat down and actually talked to was a great agent. They had a lot of good things to say, and I felt like they had my best interest at heart.
Right.
But the reason why I signed with Albert is because, he was so heartfelt about, what he was saying and what he was doing. I mean, we were sitting at the table. I mean, Vince, you remember we sitting at the table, and I'm 2 feet away from the man, and he's standing up like he in a, discussing the contract,
right.
just, showing his heart, showing his love, and like, hey, man, look, you signed with me, I'm going to fight for you to the death. And I'm like, hey, man, if this man want to fight for me at the dinner table, I think he going to fight for me in the draft room, so, hey, I couldn't do no wrong right there,
No,
y'all
exactly
did a great job.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. To tell you a little bit about that story, we walk in, we walk into Al's house, and his parents are the nicest people you can meet.
Right.
Very good people. And it was his parents, his girlfriend was there, and the situation, man, they came out with documents and most 100 asked questions. I felt like I was at a court hearing like Clarence Thomas or somebody, And then, so they were asking all the questions. We got everything answered, and we felt like we satisfied all the things they needed to know.
Right.
We left that night. It was pouring down rain. It was raining. So we get home. We were going to leave that night, but Albert said, "No, you know what? I think he may have a decision in the morning."
Right.
So we wake up. Big Al calls Albert Elias and says, "Hey, we're ready to go."
Right.
So we go back. They're ready to go with another series of questions.
Oh, listen, they're being thorough about their baby.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, the girlfriend asked, said, "Now, have any of you ever had any criminal activity or anything in your past?" I had a speeding ticket that was a little expired, so I got a little scared. But no, it worked out real well, and we're very happy you're with us, Al. I was going to ask you going into the pros, who do you pattern your game after in the pros, or who do you really like at defensive tackle right now?
Oh, man, I mean, that's kind of hard to break it down, man. I love my guy Kyle Williams, from
right.
Buffalo, because he plays aggressive, he plays hard, he plays with his heart.
Right.
And I love that about him. And I love my guy Casey Hampton, man. That's another guy. I get to train with Casey a little bit, and it's kind of cool because I would never expect to see that side of NFL players, because before I started training over there, I think an NFL guy, man, this guy is the elite athlete. I mean, just, and I kind of always thought, since they was that good, they might have had their nose up in the air.
Right.
I mean, not even. I mean, I walk in there, Casey Hampton shake my hand. I'm like, I've been watching this dude since I was little. And it's just cool because, some of those guys are so grounded and just so humble about what they're doing and, just ready to help the next man. And that's what I appreciate about those guys, and that's why I love being at place, because the guys over there are, just willing to help the next guy get along and get on board and, get himself situated.
That's
great. That's great. Al, I want to kind of get back into, what you're doing right now as far as your preparation. Obviously, without a doubt, you're going to be physically prepared. But I want you to talk a little bit to the listeners. They hear about guys going to combines.